Hi there, welcome to our guided experience for the Oolong tea number 2. This tea you're drinking right now came from the most unique natural wonders in China, the Mount Wuyi ecological preserve. Located in China's southeast province of Fujian, it contains the largest and the most representative example of ancient forest that's largely intact. It's also an essential safe haven for over 2,000 plants and 5,000 animal species. To understand why this tea has such a distinctive mineral undertone, we have to talk about the environment of which the tea was grown. In China, it's not unusual to see tea gardens in mountainous areas. Both the red and the white in our collection were harvested from mountains, for instance. But that being said, Mount Wuyi was largely shaped by ancient volcanoes, which defined its extremely rocky terrain and sandy soil, with layer after layer of mineral-rich nutrients. The sharp cliffs are an example of such rocky terrain. There are said to be 36 mountain peaks, 99 rocky cliffs, spread along the winding Wuyi River. The tea was found growing inside the cracks of the cliffs, a true yancha, or rock tea. Perhaps most of you are unfamiliar with the term, but maybe you've heard of something called the Big Red Rope. The Big Red Rope, an iconic Wuyi rock tea, is a glorious example of Oolong, and possibly one of the most valuable tea in the world. Towards the end of 2002, just merely 20 grams of the Big Red Rope was auctioned in Hong Kong, and eventually sold for a jaw-dropping price of $28,000. That's $1.4 million per kilo, or $700,000 per pound. With less than 400 grams of annual yield, the 6 mother trees of the Big Red Rope have been declared a national treasure by the Chinese government. In 2006, the government enacted a new law to prohibit further harvesting from them altogether, hoping that they can live for another 360 years. Rock teas are known for their rocky backbones to the flavors and textures. The ultimate ideal of Wuyi rock tea is known as yan yun, meaning the essence of the rocks, which describes an abstract and ineffable aftertaste, about the refreshing tingling and mouth-watering sensation. For a long time, the red rope means yancha and yancha means the big red rope. But in recent years, we're witnessing more and more exciting varietals emerging from the region. Specifically, in the last 5 years, a tea named Rougui has quickly become one of the most prominent and sought-after Oolong rock tea in the market. Rougui, or Chinese cinnamon, is just another name for the tea that you're drinking right now. The moment you steep this tea, you might find yourself overwhelmed by sweet, smoky aroma that will soon fill your room. As you're drinking this tea, try to take a small sip each time, savoring each sip while focusing your mind on how the tastes diffuse and echo around your tongue. It carries an intense fruity and mineral note. Commonly used terms are Chinese cinnamon, sandalwood, mineral, and caramel. Because all Oolong teas follow very similar processes, you might find the following description somewhat similar to the Oolong number 1. After the tea leaves are handpicked from the tree, they're left to wither outdoor under the sun. This helps getting rid of excess moisture and the intense grassy aromas of the tea leaves. What follows next is what truly differentiates the making of Oolong from every other tea, or, as our tea master likes to call it, the dance of life and death. Once the leaves have lost the desired amount of moisture content, they're then transferred into a rotating bamboo barrel, where the leaves are intentionally fluffed and tossed to be softened. This process, otherwise known as shake grain, it helps break down the cell walls for better infusion, but most importantly, it can revive the withered leaves by driving moisture out of the stems to distribute evenly throughout the leaves. This back and forth movement of enzyme and moisture within the leaves and the resulting reaction with the air is what helps create the defining characteristic of a true oolong. The tea makers have to directly guide the process by listening as the aroma changes, fluffing the leaves to coax out more moisture and bring out deeper aroma, then resting the leaves to allow the moisture to evaporate and the aromas to settle back into the leaves, again and again, usually over about 16 hours of straight labor. Once the desired level of oxidation has been reached, the leaves are heated at a high temperature to denature the enzyme, therefore ending the oxidation process at large. The tea makers then place them on a bamboo tray to gradually roll them by hand into that shape that you see right now. This typically goes on for hours as well. But as we enter the final stage of the process, the leaves are baked and fired in a large oven over charcoal at 320 degrees Fahrenheit or 160 degrees Celsius to dry and lock in the intense aromas and flavors. But unlike our other oolong tea, which required double baking, this tea was baked 3 times across the span of 2 to 6 months. In between each firing, the tea leaves are left to rest outside, sometimes for months. This prevents overbaking and allows the tea leaves to acquire extra complexities through their surroundings. Towards the end of this recording, I would like to take a moment to say just about how glad I am to be a part of your tea experience. We spent nearly a year building Good Slow, from finding the best tea, to designing a meaningful slowdown experience down to every part on the website page. We started this project because we think that loose leaf tea embodies and captures so much of the values that have been neglected and overlooked in our days. For example, the idea of calmly and patiently experiencing something so raw and beautiful. The idea of enjoying and being entertained for the sake of pure enjoyment and the entertainment. And the idea of subtleties and clarities as opposed to lavishness and intoxication. We're not tea farmers, nor would we ever call ourselves tea experts. We're simply enjoying the practice of tea drinking and appreciate the vibe it facilitates for introspection and the awareness of the presence. And we hope that you felt some of that with us today.